Hey. So I wanted to come here and just chat with you on the topic of limerence. I just came across this word not too long ago. I'll say probably like a week ago. And I think, you know what? I first saw this in relation to INFPs. I think the chick's name is the imperfect INFP, but I believe she has a video about that. That was the way that I was introduced to this word, and it really made me understand my feelings and experiences with that word. And so I watched a video this morning on Limerence, and I'll go back and link it. But there was someone speaking on the subject. Someone had wrote in to the channel, and she was providing some feedback. And so she read the story, and it was basically of a woman who was a nun, how she developed this fantasy relationship with a younger kid who she had helped. Their relationship started out by, completely innocent. He needed help. He reached out to her, being a nun, and okay, that doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's how it started. And certain things happened in her life. A bit of backstory was she was abused by her mother as a child. Even when she was first born, her mother was, I believe, so ill that she couldn't breastfeed her. So she had to be breastfed by someone else. And that plays a lot into like people who are more susceptible to limerence, because it really speaks to something that, like an unmet need. It's like you go into this fantasy, or you feed this fantasy in an effort to feel, the appetite for love, the appetite for intimacy, the appetite for, just being noticed, And so I really want to share my experience with this. I'm laughing because of what I'm about to share, but it is what it is. This is my experience with it, and I just feel like this can, you know what, let me just say, this would be good for me to express. I know this is like, why would you want to express this to the internet? This is something that I would want to keep to myself. But at the same time, like usual, I feel led to share this. So anyway, let's just get into it. Let me not be so dramatic. Okay, so this happened, my experience, let me give you a little backstory. At the time, I had been going back and forth with a relationship that proved to be something that I shouldn't be a part of. Or that you know what, let me not say I shouldn't have been a part of. It just wasn't a, it wasn't a good, it wasn't a good relationship. And I guess I'm setting this up to like speak to the unmet feelings, and that was like the current things. But of course, this type of behavior, it stems from things that were not received or needs that just went unmet, that weren't met. Choopy. So, let me get to it. This all happened at work. I remember clear as day. At the job, we were participating in our own Winter Game Olympics. And I noticed this new hire. And when I say I really, really noticed her, it was almost like I just could not. I felt like mesmerized. Choopy, chill out. I just thought this guy was just so beautiful. And this is where it began. I remember seeing him in we would often play the games in our cafeteria area. And of course, we would all be dressed up, representing our countries. And he was an oddball because he was a new hire. So I just thought he was beautiful. I thought he was a very beautiful man. Light skin, tall. I would assume that he's biracial. I would say black and white, Puerto Rican and black. I don't know. Just gorgeous. Okay. So I began writing. This was March 17th, 2022. I have this to say. I feel like I'm having a Seven of Swords moment. These thoughts about T. I'll just call him T. I'm not even sure if that's his name, but he's a coworker, and I've been very interested in. From the moment I first saw him, I just thought, he's so beautiful. Most times I'd have to remind myself that gawking isn't polite. My attraction to him led to so many thoughts. This particular thought made me think, maybe this is so wrong. I know that these are just thoughts, but I almost feel guilty at how much he's been occupying my thoughts. Like, it's intrusive. Anyway, yesterday morning while I was showering, I imagined myself with him. Eyes closed, water cascading down my body. I let my imagination sprint. My mind's eye seeing him naked. The color of his nipples. The light hair on his chest and abs. His beautiful skin. Each thought causing blood to rush to a particular place. I thought of what it would be like to gently suck on him. The thought of him in complete bliss followed. After my shower, it dawned on me that I was stealing him mentally. He could have a girlfriend or a significant other, and here I am using him for my own pleasure. And though he is most likely oblivious to this, it still makes me feel as if I'm doing something I shouldn't. Instead of this approach, where this is basically all of your doing, why don't you meet someone you're attracted to and see if the feeling is mutual? I mean, it's kind of crazy having a whole affair with a man in my mind. And I mean, that basically defines limerence. And this is just me first meeting him. Like, I don't know why. I remember at first it was just like, I am really, and I even questioned it. Like, I felt bad. Even though it felt good at times, just thinking of him. Like, it was just like, come on, like, in reality, you could even say something to him to gauge if he is, like, even if you do have a chance. But for you to just sit here and to entertain such thoughts just really doesn't make any sense. So, that was my first entry. My second entry was written June the 29th. So, a little bit over 3 months. I wrote, I need to express this. I think I may be obsessed with T. I like him so much, or I like what I see and how he appears to be. I haven't said more than thank you to him since he started working here. I think he is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. He smells really good too. At least he smelled really good when he helped me out that one day. A bunch of boxes had fell over, and he came over to help me stack them back up. I could remember being so happy that he was right there in front of me, but I was also pretty nervous to say anything to him. So I inhaled deeply to smell him. Horrible. He's so fine. I often go back and forth with myself. I often go back and forth with myself about revealing my like for him. Damn near every day I look at his cubicle. I notice his car in the parking lot. He's so fine. I even think of how it could be an issue of me coming out and saying how much I adore him. What if he shared similar thoughts? Then I could definitely see myself creating a situation where I give up my power, wanting to submit to him because of my infatuation. I like him so much that I could see myself behaving like a slave. I'd please the fuck out of him. When he first began working here and I began lusting for him, it raised concern that I was operating from an unhealthy space, putting him on a pedestal and seeing him as perfection. I had to slow myself down and realize that he is flawed, just like everyone else is, and that he struggles and has weaknesses, and that he is much more than that beautiful man. He is much more than the beautiful man that I see. I know that there is concern with my infatuation with him. I'd be his tawdry pleasurer. Oh my gosh. This is horrible. It's horrible. Okay. This was July the 14th. I make myself chuckle at times, so We just had a fire drill at work and needed to vacate the building. I made it outside and began to put on my headphones when I paused at the sight of T. I saw him, admire his gait. He's so beautiful. He ended up near me, so I took the opportunity to listen in by removing my headphones. Horrible. He sounds so cute. His voice is very gentle. I wanted to melt. I laughed at how indirect I was being. So much going on within, but I'm appearing cool as a cucumber. As we made our way back into the building, I followed behind, secretly taking in as much as I could. I laughed at myself because if I was being completely honest with myself, I would want him to be all over me. I would steal glances when opportunities presented itself. I'm attracted to his gentleness in his appearance and now in his voice. He sounds like he grew up in the burbs, very well mannered. He's like Venus in the male form, refined and beautiful. Note: the song I was about to play before he showed up was Brandy on Colors, singing Rather Be. I don't know if I'm gonna share this. Oh my gosh, it's like what you have to get to, well, what you have to go through to get to. And my last entry was August the 30th. I decided to write him a note because I wanted to, like, this whole thing is, apparently on my side. Like, I hope I have created this whole thing in my mind. And, it's like getting to the reality of it. I realized, you know what? Pause. Let me say that, during the last two entries that I just read, I would often think about the whole experience. Like, why was I attracted to him in such a way? Why was I having these thoughts like this? Like why? I knew there was a reason behind it. I knew it wasn't just me saying that he was fine and I wanted to be with him. Like, I knew it was something much more. And one thing that really popped up for me was everything that I saw in this man is like I was failing to see within myself. I was failing to see how beautiful I am. And I kind of feel like that plays into why I would even, like how the attraction to him would not be healthy. Well, the attraction for him was not healthy in the sense that just being attracted to him, I would put myself beneath him, in order to build him up, like I'm going to have to be down on the ground, looking up, and it's just like, that really got me to look at myself as like, yes, he is fine, but there are things that I need to do to be able to see myself in that same light, And it's not to say that I'm not beautiful or I'm not fine or I'm not, attractive. I know I am. I know I am, but at the same time, like, I know that there's a lot of things that I would need to work on myself before even entertaining a relationship with anyone. And I feel like that was his purpose, I feel like his purpose was to get me to to mirror myself, to get me to see things in myself that I saw in him, and to also, like, I liked him because like, I would see that he had muscles, and would see that he would go to the gym. I was like, how do you know that? I didn't start this nigga. I swear I didn't. Um, but he did things. I like that he had muscles, which would indicate that he took care of his body. He made time for his body, which would mirror to me that you need to make time for your body, you know? And so even though I still, knew he was beautiful, it kind of lost the gloss, or the fantasy became more reality, or more real, of what was really going on. Yes, he is beautiful. He is. But like I said, like, he is flawed. He has weaknesses. And that's not to. I guess that is to pull him down off the pedestal, and just make it more level field. I don't need to look at anyone as being superior to me. Just like I don't need to look at anyone being inferior to me, you know? Um, but I felt like that was really like the lesson behind this whole experience. And so this eventually led to this last entry. And I actually did a ritual following this entry to release his energy back to him. Because, I mean, even though he didn't give me permission, that's why I even felt like it was bad in the first place, to give him his energy back, and to take my energy back too, because the many thoughts of him, I spent a lot of time thinking about him. I did. And I will say, thinking about him so much made me think about myself too. So it wasn't just about him. I feel like he was just being used to be able to get me to see certain things. So anyway, let me read this entry. I wrote this August the 30th. Dear TM, I can't help but start this off by saying you are so beautiful. Good Lord. Ha ha ha. It is your beauty that brought so much into my awareness. Initially, I thought I was just lusting over you. I mean, I don't know you from a can of paint, yet I have so many thoughts that include you. Your beauty got me to look at you, but more importantly, it got me to look at myself. I was so infatuated that I would want to idealize you, make you into perfection, putting you up on a pedestal. I became aware that to put you up on a pedestal was to also make myself inferior. It was at this point where I began to think of more than just your gorgeous face, but to dig deep into the meaning behind my attraction to you. It had to be more. I began to think about what made me attracted to you. I mean, you appear to be cool and calculated. I like that you're quiet, giving my imagination more room to play. I would assume that, because I don't know you, that you're well put together and stable just based on how you carry yourself. One time I snuck to listen in on you speaking and fell more in love. Your tone calming, comforting, and relaxing. But I also began to think of myself in relation to you. Would I be confident to step to you and or be your equal instead of putting myself beneath you? I realize the work that I need to do, that I need to put in to make myself better equipped to be in a relationship with anyone. Could what I'm doing right now stand up in a relationship? So I thank you, T, with your fine ass. You've helped me see things I didn't see before. Peace. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. Um, I when I came across the word limerence, it was just like it described everything that I just shared with you, and it gave it a definition and provided understanding for me, exactly what it is that I was doing, you know, and even understanding, certain circumstances, which I had let off with, um, that influenced this behavior, and like I said, this situation, this experience has gotten me to look at myself, so that's what I'm doing. Um, I'm continuing to look at myself and to do the work that is needed, you know, um, because like, what if he was my love, like the one to fall in love with me, and this is okay. Let me just say what everyone's gonna say. What if he was the one to fall in love with me, and let's just say he was just a great man for me. Like, I wouldn't even be ready for him right now, you know? And that would be a pity. So it's not for me to do work for me to try to be with him. I know what this whole situation was. I don't feel like it's a fantasy that I want to be in a relationship with him, because I know I don't know the nigga. I know that I could, have a conversation with him and totally turned off by the conversation or the things that he says, or vice versa. Just because I had a thing for him doesn't mean that he has to like me. So I am very much aware of that, and I'm very much aware of that. I just felt like this was a great. This provides context to the word limerence. So there you have it.